Welcome to Softech Coding. This is the 17th episode of our Coding with Scratch series. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I am continuously going to make videos. Welcome back to those who have already watched past episodes, but if you're just beginning to code, I would highly recommend starting from episode 1, and if you have started coding but you haven't really continued with it, I would highly recommend going through the videos and finding your level. And if you could please also share this video with your friends and family, that would be great. Alright, let's get started. So, today we are going to be making a maze game. Now, this is going to be a little bit easier than the last game we did, which was Pong, but it's still a little bit challenging because we're going to add a few more features to it. So, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is delete this scratch cat because we don't need it. All we need right now is our backdrop. So you're going to go to backdrops and wait for it to load. Perfect. So, first thing you have to do is click on rectangle, because we're going to be using this really cool technique to make the mazes, and it's just going to be like this. Now you guys, you don't have to make it exactly like I do. You can make it a little bit different, add your own style to it, but this is how just the shapes, the exact size, and the stuff like that, you guys can do differently. You can add more layers if you want, but I'm just going to make it a bit of a simple maze. So here in fill, we have to click on this transparent one, because we don't want them to be full, we just want to make borders. And if you have your outline at 4, that's pretty much the perfect number. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make a giant rectangle, alright? And then inside of it, we're going to make another one. Try to keep like a nice amount of space between them. I mean, we can still edit it afterwards because we're doing this in vector and not in bitmap. But yeah, it's still best to try and make it so that there's enough room between them for like a character to walk through. So I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller because it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So then we can make another one, except this time I'm just going to make it half of the size of the whole one. Now you guys can add more layers before you put your half, or whichever one, however you want to make it. And I'm going to add another one here. And try to make them at the same height. And then I'm just going to make maybe like another one inside of this. So just one here. And I don't want to make it too much of a big one because I do want to leave some room to be able to walk around. So I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller. And remember that you can edit the sizes. This is a little bit of a simpler one. You guys can add more layers, but that does mean that your actual sprite that's going to be going through the maze does have to be smaller. So once you're finished putting in all of these, then what you're going to do is you're going to decide on a path. So the first thing you're going to do before that is you're going to click on the square rectangle tool again, and you're going to reduce the outline to 0, and you're going to make the fill completely white. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make a rectangle here. Now here what you're going to do is you're going to look here. As you can see, now there's a gap there which a sprite could pass through. Now we're going to Control C, or if you click on select here, you can just click on this copy button and paste. I'm just going to add little holes and gaps within the walls so that our sprite can pass through. You just have to click paste. And if you have to add one to each one, and I'm just going to put this here, and I'm just going to add another one here. Oh, just click undo if you make a mistake right here. And I'm just going to put this here. This project is more of a backdrop it's focused on because that's the main part. And if you ever want to move them around with the arrow keys, you can, because that's also pretty useful for small movements. I just want to make this go a little bit higher. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it again, and I'm going to rotate it so that it's horizontal. So now I'm going to add a few more gaps here on the bottom, like maybe one there. Oh, so now what you have to do is click on this and copy this and paste this, so that you're copying and pasting the horizontal one. You can put one there, I can copy and paste and put one here. Alright, so we're just going to keep on doing this until we're satisfied. There should be a gap in most of your squares so that the user can pass through. Because this isn't our final maze yet, we're going to be closing off lots of the paths. And we need to add one for our finish. So I'm just going to finish putting all of these different holes in the walls. So we need one here. If you just look over here, then you can get a better sense of what you're actually doing. And I think that should be, maybe we can add one more, paste it here, because I want to have one there. And it's okay if your white squares overlap, all right? That's fine, but if you don't want them to, then you can just move them around. But they're all going to be like not visible here anyway. So now that we've got all of this sorted out, we have to add our finishing one. So copy and paste. So this is going to be our finish line, all right? So we're going to be finishing here. Now, something that we do need to do is, the first thing I want to do is, okay, before we do that, we need to create our path. So I'm just going to make this red, and we can just increase this. You need to draw the path that you want your user to take through your maze. Now, I'm going to make this like 28 so I can see it. So I want my user to go here, and then, oh, I went a little bit too low. So let's make it red again. Oh, not that. Dude, if you make one of the shapes red, that means it's outlined in blue. You have to just click on your cursor and click away, and then click on this. And I want it to be red. So I want this guy to go through here, maybe go through here, and maybe pass through this, and this, and this. Oh, wait, no, there's nothing there. So I'm just going to add one of these. Actually, maybe not. So maybe we should just change the path, because that's actually a really good dead end. So I'm just going to make the user go through here, here, maybe through here, and then through here, here, and here. And I'm just going to click try again. Alright, so that's the path I want the user to take when they're trying to leave the maze. So now what you need to do is close off all the other paths. So first thing I want to do is, if you hold shift, then you can make a straight line like we mentioned before. So I'm just going to make a straight line here so that they just can't take the shortcut and just go from the back. Alright? So they have to go here to be through the maze to be able to finish it. So I don't want my user to be able to go through here. So I'm just going to close this off. Here, I'm holding shift so that it's a perfect straight line. And from here, I don't want the user to be able to finish, because I don't want the user to be able to go through this path and get out. Here's already closed off, so that's good. So if our user goes this way, they're not going to be able to finish the maze. Also, if the user goes through here, okay, so I'm just going to close this off, this pathway, so that you can't go through. Oh, just click undo, because I don't want the user to be able to go through there. So I'm just going to hold this and stop it right there. And from here, I want to close this off. So I'm just going to stop them from going from here. All you have to do is just close off all of the paths that lead to the finish that you don't want the player to be able to use. So now, if the player goes this way, they're not going to be able to go through, and they have to go through here to be able to go. So if there's any other paths, now you might find later on that there's a path that you missed, that the user is still able to go through to the end of the maze. So that's why you need to make sure that if you ask a few friends to play through your maze and see if they found any other paths. Like for example, right now, I think this is a path that I need to close off, because I want the user just to go through here and not from this way. Yeah, so if you find any other paths, then yeah, that's all you need to do. So yeah, Now I think that this is good. Remember that your mazes can look completely different. I'm just going to click on this and delete it using the delete button. If you want to keep your red one so you remember which way you're supposed to go, just click on it, click on this delete. So now you have one copy with the actual answer and one copy without it. So now that you're finished drawing your maze and it looks pretty cool, then you can click on code and we can choose a sprite to go through our maze. So let's see, which sprite do we want to go through our maze? Let me see. How about, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna take a look through the sprites. Now you guys can choose whichever sprites you like. Maybe I want, no, it doesn't have an animation for walking. This isn't a bad idea, but I'm not sure about it. We also have this zebra and this toad. And we have this really cool toucan. I think I want the toucan to be the one who's going through my maze. Alright, so, oh, it didn't come. So if that ever happens, just go back. You can search up the name so you can find it easily and just click on it and it should come. Oh, sometimes it just lags like that. It's fine, don't ever be worried. It's just sometimes computers act like that. So we have 50. So now I change it to half the size. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be clicking on when green flag is clicked. We want forever, and I'm going to pull out one if block. So the first thing I'm going to do with this if block is go to sensing and pull out a key space pressed block and go to motion. We're not going to put anything in it yet. So for example, the up arrow. So now I'm going to click on change, pull out the change Y, and I'm going to change this to 5. So the reason we use this one and not the other one is because with this one, you can't hold the key. You just have to click on it repeatedly. And it's not as smooth either. This is more professional. Alright, so you're just going to click on this and do Control-C or Command-C depending on your laptop. And we're just going to paste these all here. So we need 4 for the 4 keys. Alright, so we have up arrow. I want down arrow, which is going to be -5. So remember that Y, if you ever forget, there's this little icon beside the Y here that you can look at. Y is up and down. So you're going to do the up and down arrows. And if you change it by 5, that means you're going up. And -5, that means you're going down. And we're going to be doing the left arrow and the right arrow. Now remember, left and right, they are X. So here we're going to take out the change Y by blocks because we don't want them to change the Y. So if left arrow is clicked, then we want our guy to go, change X by -5, because remember the negatives are this way and the positives are this way for the X, for horizontal. Now remember that if you ever have any trouble, just go to choose a backdrop, search up grid, and right here you have all of the measurements, all of the negatives and the positives. So you can see this and remember what it was. You can see the maximums, you can see everything, all right? So if you ever are having any problems, just bring this backdrop up and it will help you. So we're going to go back to code and go back to toucan. So right arrow, we're going to change our X by 5. So now we're going to test it out. So now as you can see, my toucan is able to move through the maze. The only problem is that it's touching the edges of the maze. And also, when it is touching them, nothing's happening. So next time, we're going to be coding the actual code that stops whenever our toucan touches the edge of the maze. It sends it back to the start. And also, we're going to be coding the finishing, and we're going to be moving around our maze, adjusting it a little bit so that our toucan can actually fit inside of all the parts. So, thanks for watching. We have lots of other videos and many more coming. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and please share this video with your friends and family. I'll see you in the next episode.